Hello, I hope you're doing okay. Welcome to Bushy Park, the spiritual home of parkrun and the scene of many elite athletes training. Gonna have to make do with me today. Matt Reese, the Welsh runner, my coach, has sent me a rather tough one on my road to the hopefully a sub-3 attempt at Seville in February. So I thought I'd start a little series of training videos and also some sub-3 themed sort of stats videos as well. Make a little series of it. So it's a rather tough one today. 5k, 4k, 3k, 1k with a 1k float between, starting off at marathon pace. So we'll say we'll try and aim for about 6:50 pace, so around about 21 minutes. And then if it gradually see if we can work that down very slightly. I think in all honesty, if I can keep the pace going, that we're doing very well. So it's rather a long session as well, so better crack on with a little warm-up and I'll go straight into it. I come to Bushy Park because there's a nice sort of tarmac pass here. It's pretty much flat and no sort of touring around the roads for city strides today. Okay, so get my warm-up and then we'll see you at the start of the 5k. Ever since lockdown, they put like a restriction on cars coming through the park and they kept it up. So at the moment, you can only basically come in by car one entrance or the other one, the Hampton Court entrance or the Teddington entrance. So you can't no longer use this as sort of a cut through, which is quite handy for runners because that means I can use this main path without danger of being run over. Okay, so ready to roll on this one. Kit checks today, I've got a bit of a Nike trail ensemble going on. So I've got this yellow top here, and I've got the grey sort of trail shorts with a pocket here for I've got a Molten gel in there, got my car key in the back there, and I'll put my GoPro in the back when I'm not using it. And then I've got the sub 2 arm warmers on. I found the arm warmers really a bit of a revelation. I've started to use them the last couple of years, and it means that you just basically take any tops from your sort of short sleeve winter summer collection and just make them into a long sleeve top. As long as it's not raining or it's not too heavy, then they're ideal. Gives a bit more aero as well than sort of wearing one of these jackets. I hate wearing jackets. I think I hate wearing jackets when I do caps. Anyway, those if it's absolutely tipping it down. And otherwise, day tight today. Well, a nice sort of afternoon. Got to get this done in the daylight this time of year, really, haven't you? Otherwise, really is rather a miserable session trying to do this in the dark or on the treadmill. So yeah, come out to a place like this and do it. So yeah. Right, so 5k at about sort of 6:50 pace, something like that. I'll just feel into this, see how I feel. I've had one Molten gel already on the way here in lieu of lunch. So we'll see how we go and report back on the way. Okay, first 5k done. It was a bit harder than I thought it would be. It was about sort of 6:55 pace average, I think. So I was on miles for it, so I had to mentally note what was my current mileage in miles plus 5k. 3.1 miles. I have to do those mental calculations for the next ones. But yeah, nice riding up and down the park. A long time since I've done a circuit literally from gate to gate. I'm here at the Hampton Court end, and I'm going to go on to the little trail bit for the next bit. We're heading out towards the sort of the park run course, so maybe I'll do a bit of the trail loop by the side at the start for the next 4k. So we've got to do about a k flight. I'm not going to take these too seriously. I'll just jog for 3 or 4 minutes and then get back into it because I haven't got all day with the fading light. I forgot to say what shoes I've got on. And of course, no surprise, the Vaporfly NEXT version 1 with a Stryd. I think it's quite important in a session like this, which is sort of marathon simulation, to wear your race kit, because any other shoes I've got would be sort of cursing my luck, thinking they're not as good. And a lot of people don't wear sort of shoes of the year, and here I am reaching for a shoe that came out in 2019 and we're almost into 2023. So I think that says a lot about the state of where we're at. I think a lot of YouTubers sort of miss Nike because I think, oh, they must try Asics, they must try Adidas, they must try New Balance. But basically, when you look down racers' feet, race start lines, it's all Nike basically. And at 56, I feel like I need all the help I can get. Right, how much have I done? So I think I'll start just past this playground here. I think it was on the old course of the Bushy Park run. Oh, do you know, I haven't done Bushy Park for such a long time, I've almost forgotten. I think you now do this bit at the end, don't you?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's amazingly busy actually. I suppose a lot of people have broken off for Christmas already. But alright, how long have I had now? Pace is down to 12:15. I think I'm meant to be jogging, but anyway. Right, I'll start from this little section here. Run to 4k now. I'm not sure I'm actually going to speed these up, but if I can maintain a sort of sub 7 pace, maybe I can try a bit harder on the shorter ones. Psychologically they're a bit easier as well, aren't they? But now I haven't done that. I've got 4, 3, 7, 10k to go, and I've done 5k, although I've done only 1 rep out of 5. So I'm a third of the way through in distance, but only a fifth of the way through in actual reps. So right, let's get on with this next one then. Okay, the 4K rep done. That was a bit faster actually, although I feel like I was working for that a bit. So yeah, this sub 3 target is going to be quite challenging. I'm not quite sure where it's really going to be in me. My Garmin's predicting 3:11. It's been surprisingly accurate on the shorter distances, 5K and 10K, and it predicted 19:26 the other day, and I did 19:26. So I need to be running considerably quicker than that relatively, but it was 3:16 a few weeks ago. So we've certainly, with Matt, we've been increasing the volume and done some good sessions. I had 2 good sessions last week, 3x5K, were averaged about 21 minutes, so kind of similar to the one I did first of all today, and then another session where I was doing 7 by a mile in the end when it was really icy. So yeah, not for worth of trying. And I did an 18-mile long run on Saturday, and felt pretty rubbish actually. Sort of what often happens after a few miles, I feel like my blood sugar's got right down to my boots, and I almost feel like I need to stop. So sometimes I have to literally almost stop to a crawl or a walk. And I sort of asked about this on the sub 3 marathon group, and then somebody pointed me to a podcast. I put the link down. Then one sort of short-term fix to this is to actually have a short little sprint, get some adrenaline going. So I'm not sure if that will work or not, but one to bear in mind if you're flagging on a train run and want to try something that you perhaps wouldn't try on a race day. Right, I think I'll go to the end here and then start this 3K going back the other way. Perhaps I should jog through it while I've done 0.3 of a mile. So psychologically I only got the 3K, 2K, 1K to go. Maybe just enough light. It's getting a bit cooler, so I'm glad of the arm warmers. I've seen a few runners around, no one I would say really famous, but if you see this video and you see me running, give me a shout down below. Right, on to the 3K shortly then. Okay, 3K done. Those who run the wedding day Bushy Park 7K in the summer might recognise the pavilion here, all rather locked up for the winter, and the cricket pitch is all fenced off, but we can get around the side on the path here. So yeah, that was a bit faster actually. I'm starting to feel alright. I've completely forgot to have my gel, so I might just have it now to see how it sort of settles on me. I've got to take a 2K back and a 1K to go, so nothing heroic I don't think, but just got the Morton gel. I've ordered some more actually, some caffeine ones and some plain ones. If you take Morton gels, how do you switch up between the caffeine ones and the normal ones? I read somewhere that you should take the caffeine ones a bit sooner than people do. It's no good taking it with 5K to go in the marathon, because it'll be good for your post-race party, not actually the race itself. So with some flakes I made in Seville, although I suppose just taking a gel, psychological boost anyway. And the runner there. So right, I've got 2 more reps to go. It's only a 2K, so it's a 1.22 miles I look on the watch. So I set my lap when I start the interval, do a mile, then look for the next 0.22, then I stop. And then for the last one it will be 0.62 of a mile, won't it? Right, let's take this gel then. It's like having dinner 10 minutes before your dinner, really, isn't it? I guess it's important though. Perhaps I should be taking these when I'm much at effort pace to get used to it, but just need to get used to having them again. I've only taken Morton gels twice in a race, or 2 in the 2 marathons. I took 1.5 marathon, which I'd hardly really count, but they seem to work for me. I mean, back in the day in the PB, they didn't really have gels, so I used to practice drinking Lucozade Sport, which they did give out under marathon, and then have about 3 sips of that. One year, the first year I did it was really wet, so I didn't really feel like drinking much anyway. These days, people sort of say, oh, should I take like 6 gels, 8 gels? I feel like people going out for a picnic. I thought, well, 3 if I'm running well. Perhaps I needed 4 on the London Marathon, and when I was a bit slower, I took 3:09. Maybe the longer you're out, the more gels you need. Anyway, right, let's crack on to this 2K. Okay, there's the 2K done. It's getting a bit dark now, so I think I better sign off and do the outro. I got my light. We're just this 1K to go. I'm back on the main Chestnut Avenue road through the park, and I think I'll dive back out towards the Pheasantry car park where I've parked. Don't think I'll be in time for a coffee, but it's a bit lighter over that way and there's no traffic, so good little one for a straight 1K and a 1K jog back. I think that'll do. Yeah, good session. I don't feel sort of out of breath, but sort of like fatiguing. I think the I'm meant to be doing 1k floats, but maybe the first time I've done this, Matt will let me off just by doing a sort of a little more of a little jog, come talk to camera. So yeah, you can see down there it's a bit dark, so there's a few cars coming, so they're probably coming out of the Pheasant Street car park. So I'll jog back there and then I'll do this 1k and report back later. Okay, so I hope you found this interesting. Like and subscribe and all that, and if I don't see you again, we'll see you indoors for a bit of a look at the data. Okay, so a quick look at the data here. This is from Garmin Connect. So my total run was 12.20 miles in 1:35. That included all the rests. So let's have a look at the heart rate here. It was quite steady actually, just hovering around 140. I think the highest I got to was 144 at the end of the 3k there, and even on the final 1k it didn't get too high. So that was quite good. It's probably slightly below threshold, which perhaps was the whole point of the run. The power here was from the Garmin. I'll have to do a separate video on the powers between Garmin and Stryd. I'm not really using them, just collecting data to see what's going on. I actually did have the Stryd on. It seems to be a bit of a problem at the moment that the power kind of cut out and then it sort of stops altogether. So I actually used the 945 as well to record it, which seems to work fine. Seems to be a problem with the 955 at the moment there. So in this run I hadn't pre-programmed an actual workout, but I just used my normal run mode with auto mile laps, and I took manual laps at the start and end of each rep. And there's a new feature on the 955 that it tries to detect intervals. It's actually worked reasonably well. It's picked up the 4k, the 3k, the 2k and the 1k, but not the 5k, interestingly. So I did actually manage to speed up very slightly. I did the first 5k, I worked out in 21:24, averaging 6:53 pace. Then I did the 4k in 16:09, 6:40 pace. 3k 12:21, 6:39. I think I actually raced the 3k as slow as that. So obviously the form's coming together. And then 8:03 for the 2k, and then 4 minutes dead for the final 1k. So yeah, a nice little, very slight acceleration. So hopefully Matt will be pleased with that. My recoveries weren't quite the 1k that I'd meant to be doing, but I was talking to the camera and did a bit of a jog, so I think job largely done. So a quick look at this Stryd data. This is actually taken from the 945 that I was wearing on my other wrist. That seems to record it okay. So if we just look at what power I got here in this 5k section, average 301 with air power of 3%. The new next Gen Stryd seems to be giving me a lot more air power. There's a talk that it may be actually overreading. Just see what I got on the 4k there. Was that a similar power? Yeah, a bit higher power there, 310, and again 3% air power. If I then move to the last one just to see what I got there, let's just select that one. Yeah, 321 power there. So yeah, the power was sort of slightly going up, a bit more air power at the end. It felt fairly still today, to be honest. Bushy Park is almost pan flat, so it was quite a nice day for running in that sense. So yeah, I think the powers I'm getting are slightly higher than I was getting with the Stryd win. I was thinking that my marathon pace power was about 290 when I did 256, and already it seems to be more like 300 or so. My critical power is currently 335. It hasn't really moved since the 5k race that I did. That's one of the problems with Stryd. It doesn't really work very well unless you're going out all out effort. So it's almost a bit of a game to try and see if you can increase your critical power. I think that's the big advantage of the Garmin and the heart rate based thing. It's far better interpreting lower key efforts as well as these sort of maximal ones. And also I think the Stryd estimations are a bit flattering. As I said in the video, my Garmin is currently telling me 311 for the marathon, and the Stryd, somewhat flatteringly at the moment, I think is saying 258. But I suppose that at least gives me some sort of hope that someone's predicting a sub 3. I think I've got a lot of work to do, but yeah, not sure about this one. I've entered the Farnborough half marathon end of January, which this running guy has already entered, so I hope to see him there. See if we can have a bit of a battle. I think he's going for 128, so I think I'll need to be around about 126 minimum, I would say, if I got any hope of a sub 3. So I need to sort of watch out for Chris and see if I can keep ahead of him, don't I? Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this little video on my marathon pace training session, and I'll hope to do a few more on the sub 3 theme, both on training and some stats. I've got one I want to be looking at, what is the fastest actual marathon out of all the marathon majors, all the major ones. Okay, hope you found this interesting. Like and subscribe on that, and see you next one then. Bye.